everybody, this is Brett from Lost Highway. We're here today to do kind of an informative video on L-Track. L-Track and L-Track Explained. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of explain to you what L-Track is, why we put it in our vans, and then we're going to kind of lead into why we make an interior bracing kit basically with L-Track on the walls and on the ceiling that helps you build out your van and helps you secure items in your van. So let's start out with a little bit of I guess history, and I don't know all the history about L-Track, but I'm just kind of give you a few bits and pieces of information here so you're a little more educated on why we're putting L-Track on the walls and on the ceilings. So L-Track stands for logistics track, and I'm sure it came from probably aircraft industry or vehicle transportation. Basically it's an aluminum extruded tie down tracking system. It comes in several shapes and sizes. We use the recessed flange style. I've got a piece here. There's also surface mount radius, there's surface mount angular, there's square. Depending on who you buy it from, there's all sorts of different shapes and sizes. The real details are just basically in this round hole pattern, and it's a machine pattern in here. They're all typically the same. This pattern I'm talking about, not the drilled and countersunk pattern, but this 1 inch on center pattern that you see here, that's the same in all styles, outer styles of L-Track. Basically what this does, there's all kinds of accessories that lock into here. Drop the D-rings in, you have a place to tie a tie down strap. Basic, super simple. That's we use a lot. That's the kind of the real reason that we use L-Track for cargo control purposes. There's also these cool hooks. You can get these from a few suppliers. Stay Ready, I believe, has these, and Max Tie Downs has these. I think some other people out there. These sometimes fit. These are manufactured plastic. They don't always fit in every L-Track. They are a little bit snug to get in some of the cutouts. You might want to find one that actually fits your needs. This one here is not fitting into this track. I'm not sure who this manufacturer is, but you can get these hooks, different styles that work in this tracking. Basically what we've done is with our kits that use this on the roof and the walls of the Sprinter van, and we're working on a kits for the Transit van also, is we take some sheet metal structures and we attach them structurally to the inner stampings of the van. So on a Sprinter, you've got a 5 to 7, 5 and a 144, 7 and a 170 roof beams. And we've gone over this in another previous install video, so I'm not going to go into the install process of that whole structure. But basically what our foundation kit is it covers up all the factory holes, puts these yellow beams in place that are all pre-drilled, ready to go to install L-Track. You do not have to use our L-Track kits. The kit that we provide is kind of a twofold kit. You can smooth out the van walls, cover up all the factory holes, and it gives you a nice place to mount full one-piece wall paneling. If you want to do wall paneling, or if you want to do wood slat roofing or whatever, it gives you a grid pattern, the roof especially, and it blanks out all the factory holes to give you a place to mount wall paneling, roof paneling, ceiling paneling, whatever you want to call it. When you add our L-Track, the L-Track has got locations in it that are pre-cut. You can put that into the kit when you add on or purchase, and that basically breaks up the paneling and gives you a place to clamp the paneling in and a means to clamp it in without having to screw the paneling on the walls. We're going to go through that here in a second as we walk through this 144 van, show you how those panels fit, and it basically gives you a wide variety of how to mount cabinetry, how to tie things down if you got dirt bikes, mountain bikes, whatever, and it makes it a really modular interior install kit. So what we're going to do, this is going to be an intro for 2 videos. We're going to do right now, we're going to walk through our 144, which has our full interior kit in there. The bracing kit has a full L-Track kit, and it has a few wall panels in it, and we'll kind of show you how that is set up. In this video also, we're going to walk you through all of the 144 L-Track pieces When you order the L-Track, they're going to come with part numbers from our manufacturer, and they're going to be listed how they're laid out in the van. So we're going to walk you through that right now. This is for the 144 video. We're going to be doing the same thing for a 170 video. So if you have a 144, continue on watching this. You're going to see the same intro on our 170 video. We're going to go ahead and drop the same video at the same time. So if you order an L-Track kit for a 170, you can switch over and watch that one. Watch the 144 kit also, because it explains some of the wall paneling and how it's located. We might even go over some cabinetry mounting and stuff in this van. So follow along. We're going to walk through now all the interior pieces, the L-Track pieces, sorry, by part number and how they're installed. Okay, as we're going to be going through the installation parts and explanation of the L-Track and our L-Track kits, something else I want to add, which this kind of goes back to the install video of the structure behind the L-Track, all of our yellow parts that get installed to give you your headliner foundation or your wall foundation installation and L-Track installation. Basically, we've got a pretty good video on that on YouTube. If you need to start there first, obviously, and we'll get your install instructions, install kit done. What I want to point out is when you buy this kit and when you order this kit, understand what it's for, which we hopefully would explain that as far as getting your wall paneling in, using L-Track with or without it, doesn't really matter. Be honest with yourself before you order. And what I mean with that is kind of know your skill set. This is a very, very DIY friendly kit. Yeah, we've done a few of them here in the shop, quite a few, probably 6 to 8, I'm guessing so far. We can install the wall structure and roof structure, yellow pieces, and L-Track all within a day and a half. Very easily, very common tools, but you do have to be aware of you're going to need an air compressor. You're going to need a pneumatic rivet gun, which will handle up to a 1/4-inch steel rivets, so make sure you purchase that. You're going to need a riv nut gun. Highly recommended pneumatic riv nut gun instead of the hand leverage ones. These are 6mm riv nuts. You're going to need a drill. You're going to need probably a framing square. Highlighted some simple tools like a string line kit in my other video. Just be aware that there are some things in this kit that you're going to have to think about. It's not just a plug and play. You need to be sure and be honest with yourself that you know how to use hand tools. You know how to have some forethought, you know, think ahead of the next move. We're here for you to give you any instruction that you might need over and above what the videos provide or maybe what we're lacking in our videos. You're free to call and just pick our brains and ask some questions. We have Tristan on customer support or myself that can give you any install info that we may be lacking. But before you order this, again, please be aware that it is a very hands-on kit. We try to do our best to make it very DIY again, and builders are, you know, constantly working with tools, constantly building vans. They seem to have no problem installing this. It's very quick, very easy. Some of you that have not started out or not done anything with the van yet, other than just kind of planning, this is a little intensive, but it's very easy once you get the ball rolling and get started. So just again, before you order, understand what this kit is, what it does, and understand that you do need to have some skills, some tools, the correct tools. It is going to cost you. If you don't have the tools, you got to make some purchases to put this kit in. We do install it, so if you have that as an option, if you want to bring your van to us to put it in, we can get it out very quickly. But just that's a quick point there to make sure that before you purchase, you're aware that it is going to require some skill, being a little crafty, again, some forethought on what you're doing, not moving too fast. Take your time, not taking it and going 3 steps ahead and then having to go backwards. So we can explain that to you again, and hope you are successful installing this kit. It's here to help you out and get your van built quickly and more efficiently, and to be a really modular item for you so that you can enjoy building the rest of your van. Okay, so let's get into some more details about this kit. Okay, we're on 144 high roof right now. This has a full roof structure, wall structure kit, full L-Track kit installed. We've done some partial paneling to this one just because we needed to go use the van, camp in it, and we wanted to get some insulation in our sleeping area. So we're not done with this van. We got a lot of sound deadening and insulation to finish, but we can show you some of the panels that we've installed. We make these. We do not provide paneling yet for this kit, but we are working on, with this van or 170, we're working on getting all the dimensions made based off of our production kits, so that you can manufacture, you the builder or the DIYer can manufacture your own panels. They're for the most part rectangular shapes. We're going to give you dimensions that are very close. We might even get into some pointers on how to foam them and wrap them, super basic. But right now, basically, we're going to tell you, again, how and why we're doing this L-Track kit. And you can see these panels, very large. Usually there's a window here or maybe a flare. We're kind of keeping this van nice and flat on the inside. These panels are pinched in with the L-Track. So you don't see any fasteners here holding the panel in. You don't see any fasteners here. You do see L-Track. It's bolted into our wall kit that's pre-cut. Once again, there's a flange on this L-Track. You're gonna make your panel a little bit larger than the frame dimensions, so that when you bolt the L-Track down, it pinches this panel, gives it a nice smooth edge, and holds the panel in place without having to do a bunch of hardware and then to unbolt it. Then the panel can actually be removed if you loosen the screw, if you have a wiring issue, or you want to maybe add some more insulation, or you want to change your fabric color in a few years. I don't know, whatever you want to do, you can pull these panels off and replace them. Very modular. What I'm going to show you here is this is the L-Track shape again that we use from the walls. You can see the flange that overextends the body of the L-Track. This is about, flange is just over 1/4 inch, about 0.3 each side. And then this L-Track, a little deeper than most of the market, but not the deepest. I'll show you some of the heavy stuff that if you don't want to buy our kit, that you're going to want to stay away from. This is pretty heavy duty, works good on the walls and ceiling, but yet it still takes shape of the wall when we do want to form it to the wall, pushes in nicely. This has a roughly a depth, I don't have my reading glasses on, but just over 3/8 of an inch. So you don't really want to build your wall panels out to 1/2 inch. You want to go like we do, like a 1/4 inch wood, 1/8 inch foam, and then tweed. We don't wrap the foam around the edge of the panel. We try to keep it on the flat surface of the panel, wrap the fabric all the way around, and then that gives you a good pinch for the L-Track to hold that in place. You're going to see some of this other L-Track here. This has got a much heavier lower section. I don't know the terms for L-Track, but you can see the big radius, the thickness differences here. This does not work as well. This is more a floor tie down track. That, who knows, that might indicate why there's lines in. I don't know the true terms of and technical aspects of L-Track. Just giving you a little bit of information here. If you buy your own, you want to stay away from this heavy stuff. It does not take the shape of the wall very well. A little bit better for the flooring. If you're going to do your own tie down track in the flooring, a little bit better. Just thought I'd show you some information here between the differences. If you don't buy our kits, what's out there and what's available. Try to get the thinnest here as you can, so that it'll form the walls without much struggle. Also, in these kits here, you can see that what we've got some L-Track studs here that come with the Van Essentials soft bags. We took these out to show you, but the Van Essentials soft overhead cabinets pick up these studs. You can move them around, shift them, move your bags, move whatever you want, and you get an infinite adjustment down the van of where you want to put your overhead cabinetry. We spoke about that in a previous video, but we thought we'd show you that again here. So we kind of pulled that stuff out. This piece in our structure kit is pretty crucial. It comes with the roof beam kit. It does not come with the wall kit. Basically, when you order the full roof beam kit, these are our apex pieces. It's the apex between the wall and the ceiling. It creates a landing point to attach your wall panel here, So if you do have to add any screws, you have a place to attach your upper sectional wall panel on this landing here, and or the roof panel can come down. If you need to attach screws here, you can attach that. And it's held short a little bit from these beams, unlike some other kits in the market, because it allows you to keep your factory wire harness in place. So some other kits require you to undo that all the way from the back, fish it all the way out, drill holes, and run your wiring harness down lower, which is a total pain in the butt. We've accommodated that, and you can keep your factory wiring harness in place without any risk of damaging that. So basically you get a nice transition here. What we'll do most of the time is run our wall panel from under the L-track, stop it to here, then the wall panel from here will dive a little bit short, and it'll pinch the upper roof panel, I should say. The upper wall panel will pinch that into place nice and snug, so that you don't have any fasteners, and it creates a nice seam all the way down without any screws holding it in place. We don't run any L-track up here. I think it's kind of pointless. Adds extra cost to your kit, extra labor. So we've made that landing a nice smooth transition between these two panels. We can show that in another video or in some other photos. We have some of those installed, and we'll kind of walk through that. So this is kind of the basics, some details of why we do this kit. Multiple tie down options, easy to install your panels, easy to remove your panels, and gives you a good functional modularity to your interior kit. Should speed the process up of building your kit. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the drawings of our L-track. We're going to walk you through the part numbers, the details, and how this L-track is installed. So if you're watching this for informative purposes on how to install your L-track, stay tuned. We're going to have that coming up right now. Okay, here we have a drawing packet that basically specifies the part number of the L-track you're going to receive when you buy the kit. Each piece of L-track will be individually wrapped from our manufacturer for its safety, and it will be labeled. Basically what we're going to do in this video, and I apologize, we do not have a full instructional video on how to put this in. This is the instructional video you're going to get right now that we're going to post, that will show you the orientation of how the L-track goes in to line up with our bracing kit. Okay, we're going to start with this. So when you get your L-track, don't just go cutting it all open and making a big stack out of it, because it's important that you check the part numbers and do these individually. The plastic wrapping will be labeled with this part number. Right now we're going to give you the part number, the length, and the orientation of how it can be put in, because it can be flipped over and it will not line up. So you have to pay attention to what we're discussing here. This is, we're going to start from the front and work our way back. This is DR upper 1 58.562. Driver upper 1, and this says universal times 1. That's because this is universal part throughout the 144 and the 170. So your most important things to worry about are on the part number, DR, U1, and the dimension. So driver side, upper 1, and pull a tape measure on it. The dimension is in the part number, so pull a tape measure on it. Okay, this one goes here. You're going to come to the front, and you're going to notice on this one that the first bolt hole to install it is on the second machined hole from the front. So you got like a large gap here. You've got one hole. This is the second hole. Okay, so that is towards the front. The instructional label, the label on the package will not tell you front and rear, so you have to pay attention here. We're going to do first hole, second hole. That goes towards the front. Follow us down here. This is the rear of this piece. See where the bolt hole is in the first hole? This is the rear. It's at the seam. So DR U1 58.56. The front hole is in the second machined hole of the L-track. Okay. Let's go to DR L1. This will be driver side, lower 1, 58.56. Okay, so the way we have this in here, these parts are identical. Okay, upper and lower, but we give them different part numbers just to clear the confusion. So driver lower 1, driver upper 1. Driver L1 58.56. Second hole from the back is the front of the L-track. Come to the back where the seam is, it stops the vertical. The first hole is near the rear at the L-track. So second hole towards the front of the van, one hole at the seam of the vertical, okay? Driver upper one, driver lower one. All right, now we're gonna go to driver DR U2 62 inch. Driver upper two 62 inch, okay? 144 times 1. So now you're going to see that, which will mean this is for a 144 van times 1 piece. There's only 1 piece like this in your kit, okay? So this is 62 inches. It overlaps the vertical, which we'll get in this vertical part number soon. The seam is here, just on the edge of the vertical flange. If you don't have one hole in the first hole and a second hole, your second bolt hole in the third hole of the L-track, you have it in backwards. So these pre-drilled and countersunk holes for the flush mount Allens, the taper head Allens, are already in the L-track. So this 62 inch should butt up to the 58.56. It'll have a bolt in the first hole, a bolt in the third hole. Okay, we're gonna come all the way back. The rear hole in the 62 inch should be in the 1, 2, 3, 4th hole. If this is not the way it's lining up in your van, then you have something wrong. Either call or flip the L-track over, okay? This is driver upper two 62 inch, 144 times 1. All right, now we're gonna go down here. This one's a little different. This is not the same as the upper one like these two were. These two are the same. This is now called DR driver lower two 58.125 144 times 1, meaning it goes in your 144 van, 1 piece. Okay, this one should be 58 1/8 overall long. If it doesn't fit between your two verticals, you have something wrong. So also, we're going to be putting in your verticals first, setting those in place. I'm doing this kind of in order top to bottom. We're going to get to the verticals, but you need to make sure that your pieces, your verticals are kind of temporarily set, and you're checking your parts to make sure they fit between the vertical sections. We'll get to those part numbers later. This is not an install sequence. This is basically giving you the information on which parts go where. DRL2 58 1/8. The first hole towards the front at this seam should have a screw hole there. At the rear vertical, it should be on the second hole in. If you don't have this, flip it around, check and make sure it's the same. If it's not, call us and let us know, okay? So let's go to the passenger side. See similarities between the driver's side upper and passenger side upper, but basically I'm not gonna tell you those. We're gonna continue on talking about the exact part numbers. This is PS upper one 62 inch, passenger side upper one 62, okay? 62 long overall. Again, the driver's side, it goes over the top of this. It does not overlap it. It goes over the top and is flush to the edge of this passenger side vertical right here, which we'll get to. The first hole for the bolt is in the first hole of the L-track. The second bolt for the L-track is in the 1, 2, 3rd hole, okay? The rear bolt for this L-track is in the 1, 2, 3, 4th hole, just like the driver's side. If you're not lining up, flip it over. If you have any problems, call us. So we're going to do the passenger side lower one, which will be PS L1 58 1/8. Okay, same dimensions as again the driver's side, but please set the PS to the passenger side. It's going to fit between your L-tracks, your two verticals. The first bolt hole for this one is in the first hole of the L-track. The rear hole in this one is in the second hole of the L-track. Now, again, as I'm explaining all this, I'm trying to give you the orientation of flipping this L-track over. If you're not getting it correct, if it's not lining up correctly to how I'm explaining it in this video, there is a problem, so please call us. Try to flip it over, check it. But if you have it going the right way, all the other mid holes should be lining up to an existing hole in your L-track. They're on an 8-inch spacing center. and that's how our holes are all pre-cut into our structure kit. So we're only giving you the front and rear hole information, but keep in mind that all your mid holes in between those two should be lining up with pre-cut holes in the roof and wall structure kit. Okay, so that takes care of our 144, our walls front to rear. We're gonna look up now, we're gonna do the roof now. Okay, in a 144, there's four pieces total for the roof. The fronts are identical left and right. The two rears are identical left and right. So RF, meaning roof, 184 universal times 2. Universal means it works in the 144, 170. It's a tag number, piece mark number for us to know that it works in both vans. RF1, 84 is your front piece. Okay, it's 84 inches long, has a seam way in the back here. The front hole for the RF 184, the first bolt, is in the third hole of the L-track. Okay, it lands way back here in the front, off the clip in the front for the north to south runner. So it's on the third hole here. You come all the way back to the seam, you're gonna see it's in the first hole from the L-track. Typically our seams, I try to make the holes right at the very first hole in the L-track to kind of help pinch everything together. 84 inches, third hole in the front, first hole at the back seam. That's the same on driver and passenger. I'm not going to go through the passenger side. It's the same exact part, and it's probably labeled the same. So you might have you're going to probably have two RF 184s in your kit. Okay, 144 RF 2 40-inch 144 times 2, 40 inches overall. Last piece. This is again same passenger and driver and passenger. Sorry. First hole is in the first hole of its L-track machined hole, close to the seam. The rear hole is in the number 2 hole from the end. So if you don't have a bolt right here at the first hole at the seam, flip it around, check it, make sure it lines up. Again, same RF 240 144 times 2, same passenger and driver. Okay, now we're gonna go into the verticals and we'll explain that real quick. And there's 4 identical verticals in a 144. So it's gonna be vert 55 universal times 4. 55 universal times 4. Same part in a 170 as a 144. That's why it's universal times 4. There's going to be some additional verticals in the 170 kit to work with a platform bed. We don't have those yet. Those are coming. So we're only working with the verticals. We have one midline of the van, one in the back on each side. 55 inches long. Your top hole up here that comes in contact with the horizontals is going to be on the very first hole of the L-track. You have a long gap here before the other machined hole. First hole is the bolt hole on top of this vertical L-track. Okay, lower hole is down here and it's in the second hole of the L-track. Okay, you're going to want to get these set. These typically are our first ones we put in on the walls. You want to get the couple of the vertical riv nuts set and start to work this piece into place. It'll change shape and dimension as you start to squeeze this into the wall. So you might think that it's going to have a little alignment issue with the bracing piece in the back, but just start to work it slow. Get your riv nut set. As this L-track takes on a curve, it shortens slightly in dimension and making it line up with these. So don't just try to go there and here, because you're going to have a misalignment on the top and bottom hole until this L-track pulls in and kind of squeezes a little bit tighter, and then you'll start to get these other holes to line up that are further away from the top. This is a tough one to put in, but you do need to get the verticals all installed first. That gives you a good checking point to check your horizontals as you're working through the rest of the kit and getting installed. So try to get at least a few bolts into the 4 verticals and get those set in place, and then the rest will kind of fall into position. So that's it for the 144 kit. We're gonna go through the 170 again. If you're watching this is 144. If you have a 170, click over to the 170. If you have a 170 extended, we'll give you some information on that later as we're working on a kit to finish up that van. And then we'll hopefully have all that information over to you. Okay, thank you.